Good morning, everybody. Happy Serger Club virtual. This is the project that Carol is going to be talking about. I'm just signing on a little early so everybody can jump on and give us a few minutes for us to have a few guests. If you're on, say hello and good morning and tell us how excited you are about Serger Club. Give us a thumbs up or a heart. We're so excited. The new way of doing club. We are doing our distancing. We're behaving. We're following the rules. I'm going to say this a few times. What we're going to ask is when it's time to shop, please don't call the store until after this video is shared. We will not be answering the phone. We do have the phones off at this time. Just making sure I announce that because you'll be trying and you're just going to get the night ring. You're going to get the answer machine right now. So just hold off until we're done recording. All right, now I'm going to walk around. Patty, that's hilarious. I love that you're doing two things at once. Patty is polishing her nails at the same time as watching this. You couldn't do that during club. Look at all these great projects that Carol made. There she is. She's got all these great projects. She's going to talk to you about all the amazing things that she came up with, making the sweet and simple machine cover and more. All right. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning. Well, I'm going to start off non-Serger related because I got to walk around the store this morning with no one else here. And I found this pattern. A lot of you have been making the masks, and my daughter complained to me that the mask was bothering her behind her ears. And so I found this little design that had a headband with two buttons on it, and that held the mask and it didn't bother people's ears. Except I couldn't find any decent headbands, and then wandering this morning I found this pattern, so she's gonna get a new headband. It has 3 versions in it. So back to Sergers. This pattern, the great thing about this pattern is it's so versatile for different things because there are so many different stitches on our serger that we never use. And we're going to get to use a lot of different stitches on this. When I was at a training, they told us there were 88 stitches, and then somebody made a mistake, threaded their machine wrong. Everybody loved the stitch that came out, so we all wrote it down and said 89. So this uses a lot of different stitches. So the different machine covers that are in the kits, we have this colorway, and then we have this blue colorway, and the blue is all one fabric. It's an ombre.
Wow, look how beautiful that is.
So you get all the different pieces out of one piece of fabric. And then, of course, the tulip pink fabric came in, and so I had to try that because it has sewing machines on it, and scissors and pins, and so I had to make one with tulip fabric. We haven't got that kitted yet. If you want something different than what's in the kit, then you just have to buy yardage. And then I made a cover for my toaster and a chair cover. This panel is just too adorable. And so I made it so it'll hang over a chair. And I, of course, made it reversible for another holiday. But this panel is just too cute with Easter coming.
Oh, you could get a lot of chair covers out of that panel.
Yep. Chair covers, pillows,
They're
Stick
multiplying.
it on a towel, doing, oh, they are multiplying.
It's spring. It has sprung.
It's rabbits. And then, Baby Lock they referenced this flying geese serged wall hanging, and I made it with a little bit of a variation. And so we're including these directions in with your pattern, but the actual directions for it are in this quick column quilts book. Okay, so that we didn't jump around like crazy and make you all dizzy, we have a PowerPoint and some videos that are going to show you the making of the So Sweet and Simple and all of the different techniques. So we have all these wonderful threads and all these great colors that are all on the website. So you can pick and choose and make up your own. But we're going to go to the PowerPoint and show you how to make all these, and then afterwards I'll demo some of the products that we used.
Carol, I have a question. When you are making your Sweet and Simple machine cover, do you need one of those threads or two, or how many do you recommend?
You need at least two.
Okay.
Because most everything is going to have two different colors on.
Okay, so you get your club discount if you're a club member, and you need 2 spools, and they are all on our website page. Every one of those colors, all the spaghetti and fruity, are on our website. So if you're looking for your thread to make this amazing project, make sure you go to our website and place your order.
And they get used in the lower looper, the upper looper, and the needle. So
Wow.
when you put them through your needle, you're going to want a size 90.
Good tip. All right, guys, I'm walking back without getting you sick.
Bear with us for a minute. Okay, we're going to kick off Serger Club just like we normally do. There is a question on the spaghetti and fruity thread that Alyssa and Carol just shown. It is both; they are both 12 weight decorative threads, and this project you can use a heavier weight, 8 weight for some of the stitches, but the 12 weight is definitely recommended, and that is both the spaghetti and fruity, which you can see all the colors online. If you go to aurorasewingcenter.com, go to the shop button, scroll down the drop-down list to thread, you can look at it there. Okay, so moving forward with Serger Club. Aha, let's go. So as normal, I'm going to cover a few things up front, and then we're going to turn it over to Carol to get back into the meat of things. So first, just wanted to make sure everyone's aware our events and programs have been postponed, and our special guests, such as Kay England and Paula Reed, have been rescheduled. Our OESD programs, our Bernina Academy, have also been rescheduled. So most of this information is right on our website, right at the front page there on the home page. We will be sending out emails just so you are ensured of the new dates and can see that everything's been rescheduled. Relative to in-store classes, of course, everything's postponed until further notice. We are doing our best, obviously working with Carol and multiple other teachers to do some more things online. You've reached out to us, and ultimately we are going to be continually to do some more online education, so stay posted. All right. Machine service. A lot of you are sewing away, and some of you are getting into the normal burps and troubles that sometimes the machines will come across. So we are still doing service. We are pursuing no contact service, and what I mean by that is these are the 3 steps we'd like you to follow. You have a problem with your machine, and you want to bring it in for service, please give us a call. Call us at either store. We are going to start and initiate a claim ticket for your machine. And then when you get to the store, you call us again. We'll come out and you bring your machine to the porch or the back door. We'll exchange that machine and the paperwork, and away you go. That way we're mitigating the touches on the machine, and of course we're not able to have anyone in the store. So we're here trying our best to serve you, and at the same time following the guidelines as best possible here. Okay, products, kits, supplies, and this includes today's Serger Club. You can certainly call us. Right now, our phones are off here at the East Aurora store, so we can properly conduct the Serger Club without the phone ringing off the hook. We really have limited staff, just Alyssa and I here today. So you can call us after Serger Club's over. You can send us an email. You can order items online, and you just go to our website, go to that shop button, and you will start to see that we have populated items online. Certainly there's no way we have everything online here. So if you're unsure, don't see what you want, just give us a call after or shoot us an email. We will get back to you once we can. Just bear with us, and we'll go from there. Club members, all club members, you do get your club discount. So you can get club discount online, but it may be easier for you to just call or email us after the Serger Club. Yeah, Serger Club members only are getting the discount. And certainly that's one of the perks of being a club member. So if you're not a club member, maybe this entices you to check us out a little bit more and join club at a future date. Okay, anybody that's ordering product in any one of these ways, we will you place your order, we'll process the charge. Typically it's a credit card charge. And then we'll put your order in a bag, either on the back entrance here at East Aurora or the front porch of Williamsville. Alternatively, we can ship it. Certainly, it may be easier just to pick it up if you're local. All right, let's move on to Serger Club. Serger Club specials, we got a host of them. Our kit, the two kit colorways that Carol had shown earlier, are both rolled up price is almost $50. The club special is $34.99. Thank you, Ina, for putting these kits together. This includes the pattern as well, or the instructions, the sweet and simple instructions. We also have two different mini king packs of Serger thread on sale. The 12 pack is $52.49. The 24 pack, $112.49. Then we have the baby lock feet that we're going to be using throughout this Serger Club. The lace applicator foot, the cording foot, and the 3/4 inch belt loop binder. Those feet are each 25% off. The prices do vary a little bit. They're generally in the $40 range on their own, but you factor in 25%. And yeah, so like the lace applicator foot, for example, is $49.95, but then you get the 25% off. Then the fusible fleece, we're doing 25% off that because that is also incorporated into the cover, machine cover, and 1 yard minimum cuts on that. And then of course all the Baby Lock Serger inspiration guides, whether it's the machine or the accessory inspiration guides, are also 25%. That price ranges, but most of them are $99 to $169 prior to the discount. going back to the kit. The kit includes 2 colorways or 2 colored fabrics, cording, and the pattern and the fusible fleece. So that's what's incorporated into the kit. You will also need 2 spools of decorative thread to match with the fabric. So we did not include the spaghetti or fruity 12 weight within the kits because we have so many different color options and they're online. All right. Here is a little bit closer look of the orange and blue kit, calling it kit number 1 that Carol had shown earlier. You can see a little bit more of the stitches up close. We have additional photos moving forward in the presentation.
And that black fabric, it's all sewing notions and sewing sayings.
And I'm sorry, this kit number 1 has additional fabric colors built in, as you can see through the image. I misspoke earlier. Where kit number 2 just has the 2 fabric lines incorporated.
It's all from
It's all from.
Oh, it's all one. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Okay, so those are the 2 kits. Kit 1, which is the orange and blue that we called it, and then the blue kit is kit number 2. All right, away we go with Serger Club. Thank you, Carol, because I know you've really did a lot of hard work here pulling together all these samples, all this information, including the flying geese wall hanging, and really busted your tail under these crazy circumstances. And thank you for your patience. I know Serger Club was really supposed to happen last week, and I said, please don't. we need some breathing room to just let a little of this COVID dust settle so we could take a deep breath and get back on track here. So thank you again, and let's get started.
So these are some of the notions that I used. The blue is the foldy pen, which I'll demonstrate later. The white with the red cap is a glue stick, which came in very handy, and it's a really good glue stick, and it also has refill packs available. And then, of course, the marker and the clips and a tape measure. Now, you have to measure your machine. This is not a one-size-fits-all kind of cover. Obviously, we're doing it for Serger Club, so we're showing it covered on a serger, but you can also do it for any machine, or, as you saw, any appliance, baskets, chairs. Use it for anything, but this is basically how you do your measurement. You're measuring your width and your length, but when you're measuring your length, you're measuring all the way around your machine. So you're going to take into consideration, do you leave your machine threaded? Do you leave your spools on? Then you might want to put them on, measure as you're going to be putting your cover on your machine.
Now, Carol, I know you have several machines at home.
Yes, just a few.
We certainly appreciate all that. Now, that Tula cover, that wasn't for a serger, that was for a sewing machine? Is that
I made
correct?
that for my Destiny.
For your Destiny?
Yes.
So these covers can be used for virtually any machine by following those dimensions and just building the cover to whatever machine type you have.
Yeah, basically, it's not just machine covers. It's covering anything. I mean, it's learning these techniques, but the machine covers are quick, and you're really learning a lot of technique in making it.
Excellent.
The directions are wonderful. So it's basically telling you how to measure. Tallest part, where it sits on the table and everything. And then they actually give you some measurements. These were the measurements that they used when they made it, not necessarily going to be your measurements.
Yeah, that's a good point, that this is for a serger or a smaller sewing machine, but ultimately you can tailor this to anything.
Yes.
And then, of course, with your serger, it depends on which type of serger you have and which feet you're going to use, and as you'll explain further.
Yes. Okay, so you're making ties for the two sides, and you can make, we're going to show you how to make the ties on an 8-thread serger and also on a 4-thread serger. So all of these directions for all of the different settings are included in your directions. So we have a video that's going to show you how to use this belt loop binder attachment. It's the 3/4 inch size, because there's 2 different sizes on that. This is your threading. It's a little bit different than your normal threading. When you look on your threading chart that came with your machine, it only gives you a certain number of threading. Like I said, now we're up at 89 different ones that we can have. So you're going to get some specialty threading in these directions.
And in this case, with the 8-thread sergers, the Triumph, Ovation, Evolve, Evolution, you're using the decorative thread in your chain looper.
You are using the cover stitch side of the machine. This is showing you where to place you're using needles number 1 and 3, so it's showing you where to place your attachment on the machine in order to get it to feed properly. Once again, this is a close-up of where to place it. With the 3/4 inch, you're cutting your fabric at 1 inch, and you're cutting a point in order to get it to feed through. When you start off, you want that point all the way up underneath your needles, so your needles can grab as it's pulling, so that it'll pull through.
Yeah, so you have to gently lift up your presser foot and kind of push.
Yeah, I use my tweezers and just kind of get it up underneath. When you're inserting your fabric into the binder, a good thing to use is that multi-purpose screwdriver that comes for changing your needles.
You can see that here. See how they're
there. It shows that they're taking the
big toe on the foot.
Yep.
Lifting that up.
It's just your standard foot.
And the cool thing I think about this is once you get going, you may never stop. You can rip these ties off pretty quick.
Not so much with the ties, but we actually had someone tell us at one of their shops that they were doing a chain stitch and something fell on the foot, and when they came in the morning, they had yards and yards and yards of chain laying on the floor behind the machine, and they all took them home for their girls to make friendship bracelets.
And you can see the back of the tie on the right-hand side there.
Could you use this for a mask right now?
You could most definitely use this for your masks.
So yeah, these ties come in very handy.
Yes.
For a lot of different things, and certainly the masks.
I did make some masks and use this.
Great. Okay, so here's the video. Bear with us.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, and this is our 3/4 inch belt loop binder attachment for all of our 8-thread sergers. What this foot does is turn both raw edges of your fabric to the center and stitches them all in one fell swoop. Your fabric is fed through this channel and is pulled through as your machine stitches. Here, let me show you. Quick and easy and perfect every time. There are so many ways you can use these strips in your projects, like ties on seat cushions or straps on dresses. Make sure to check out our projects page on our Baby Lock website for more inspiration. And don't forget to stop by your local Baby Lock retailer today to add this one to your collection.
She said Aurora Sewing Center, I think.
I think she probably did, yeah.
Oops, sorry folks. There we go.
Now, if you don't have an 8 thread serger, you can make it on the 4 thread. And in this case, that's when you're going to be using the cording that's in your machine. And if you decide that you do want one of these feet, if you notice where it says 4 thread ties, it's in pink. When you come shopping and you want to order a foot for your machine, anything in pink is for the 4 thread machines, and anything in green is for the 8 threads. So that's the color on the packaging. That will be what we use to designate. So this is your 4 thread, how you would make your ties with cording. Or if you have an 8 thread machine, you can also do this. It's just a different method of making your ties. This is what the cording foot looks like. It has a little groove on the bottom that you can fit your cording right in and hold it. This is also great for making piping, for pillows or anything that you want to make piping on. It holds it securely in place so that you can do a nice job and also have a finished edge. This is telling you how to place the cording under the foot, wrap the fabric wrong sides together. Not going to read the PowerPoint to you, but you can pretty much get an idea of how you can do it.
It'll cut as it goes.
It cuts as it goes, yes.
Your blade is up.
So you're getting a finished, you're getting your cording covered, and you're also getting a finished edge.
Let's start out with one of my favorite trims, one of the easiest ones to make, and that is just simple piping. We have a wonderful foot called the P5 cording foot, and I love it because it's got a groove in the back. So this groove is great for making a few different sizes of trim. We can use our standard welt cord trim, we can use micro welt. So if you know how to make trim on a regular sewing machine, you really need to try it on your serger. So for today, I'm going to be sewing on the Ovation, but if you have a baby lock serger that comes with a quick reference threading guide, certainly you can use that because it's a great, great tool, and almost everything I'm doing today is on here, and it has just pages and pages of different stitches that you can do. We're going to do the 4 thread overlap, and I've already got my serger set up for that. Before we get started, let's talk a little bit about the different cords. I mentioned earlier that there's more than one size that fits. So this is the groove that's underneath the foot. And this is the cord that we're going to use. This is the micro cord, which is an 1/8 inch. So you can see it fits nicely. And that's what the packaging looks like. So this is an 1/8 inch across. And you can also use the heavier standard welt cord, which is about 1/4 of an inch. You can see that fits nicely in there too. We also have the balanced welt cord, and even though it looks bigger than the standard welt, it's soft and smushy, so it still works nice. Okay, these are 100% polyester cords. They're wrapped, not twisted, so they will work nicely. You don't want to use a cord like heavier, like our medium welt cord. That's just too big. Okay, so that wouldn't work. You don't want something that big. All right, so, and that is about 3/8 of an inch across. So that cord's just a little bit too big. All of these would work fine in that piping foot. Now, the cording that you choose will have a lot to do with how big of a part it is in your project, whether it's a main focus or if it's just an accent. And also, you want to use something that's not going to shrink when you wash it. So you want to stay away from something that's got cotton in it. Polyester is a better fit. So the first thing we're going to do when we make our piping is we're going to put our fabric and our cord underneath our foot. Now I've put a little knot in my cord so it doesn't slip out. I'm using the micro welt cord, and this is an 1/8 inch cord. So I'm going to lift this up, and if you remember, I showed you the little groove in the foot. So right there, there's just a little notch. We're just going to line that cord up so it's underneath. Let's stretch the cord out a little bit more. We're going to line that up so that cord is right underneath that groove, because that's what's going to hold everything in place. We're going to adjust our stitch width all the way, and our stitch length, we're going to leave that at about 3. And now we just sew. What's nice about this is that groove will hold that cord perfectly in place, and my seam allowances are all lined up and trimmed nicely. simple and perfect my piping is on my serger.
We had a question about whether the belt loop binder was available for a sewing machine. It's not, but the cording foot is. And the thing on the cording foot, using it on a serger, it's available in 3mm and 5mm, and you can use it because of the fact on a serger that your outside edge is finished. Then you can use it as you would use the belt loop binder. You have a nice finished edge, you use a pretty decorative thread in there, and then you can use it for purse straps or anything that you would use the other binder for. As long as you have a pretty thread in there, you have a finished edge.
And you could use elastic cording in this as well. Maybe not for this project, but I'm thinking for masks.
I haven't tried that.
I haven't tried it either, but I'm just thinking maybe that is an option because I see a question here about elastic for the masks.
If you had a round elastic that you were covering, I think it would be fine. If you had a flat elastic,
Not
it
so much,
might
yeah.
cut it,
Yeah.
and then it would lose
Right,
its...
right.
yeah.
May not have the same amount of give,
Right.
but it would have some give. Okay.
Okay, so then we're going to cut each strip in half. We're going to tie a knot at the end, and we've made our ties. And this is what the ties look like, the difference made with the 8-thread ties in green and the 4-thread ties with the cording foot in pink at the top. Now we're going to work on our center panel. So you're going to take your piece of fabric that you've got for your center panel, and you can decide when you're doing this. The pattern calls for a plain fabric on the back. Depending upon where your machine is sitting, if you want the back and the front to look the same, you can make this panel go all the way across. So you go ahead and you draw lines using your Fix-On pen, and then more lines, so you got it all set up, ready to go. And then the fabric folding pen is great for using this to get a really nice fold. Anything when you're sewing, you take your ruler, you lay it down on there. I'll demo this later. You put a little bit of it along and you fold it, and it is pretty amazing. You get a fold as nice as if you went and ironed it. And you're not losing your Fix-On marks because you iron. This is what it looks like. That's as nice a fold as I get in it just using the folding pen. Now we're going to fold. The difference in this stitch is it has 2 different sides. So when you're folding your fabric right sides together, you're going to get one look, and when you're folding your fabric wrong sides together, you're going to get a totally different look. So we've got our lines on there. We folded it right sides together. So right sides together, you get the ladder stitch. The ladder stitch is a great stitch to use. You can do, it's so versatile. You can take and you can string things through it. You can string ribbon through it, cording, to get a whole different look. On the other side, you're going to get you're going to kind of hang it off the edge, because you get this look when you actually open your fabric.
So after that stitch, you're taking those 2 pieces and pulling them
Yes,
to get these
Yeah.
2 looks.
yes. And it's not really 2 pieces, it's 1 piece of fabric that you're pulling apart. Best Press is one of my best friends. I just bought another gallon. I use it on my clothing, I use it on pretty much everything, but it does make your fabric lay very nicely. You have pulled this apart and got your stitches, so it kind of sets everything really nice if you use a little Best Press and press it. This is how you thread for your 2-thread Flatlock. These are the feet that you can use. You can either use your lace applicator foot, which has a nice bar on it to help you guide so you keep your fabric really nice and straight, or your blind hem foot also will work because it also has a little guide on it. The important thing with these stitches is to keep a nice even edge as you're doing it, so when you open it, everything lays nice and flat.
And the decorative thread is going to be used in this stitch as well, correct?
Yes, decorative thread is actually going to be making it pretty.
That's right, okay.
And you're only using the 2 threads, so you have to engage your subsidiary looper. And how that works, you just kind of pull it up, pull back, and what it does is it fakes the machine out and makes it think there's thread in there because it puts a little plug in where the thread would normally be.
And the tip of that upper looper.
Yes. This is what the stitch looks like on either side, depending upon which side you stitch on. Now we're going to go on and make our prairie points. And our prairie points are a 2.5 inch strip of fabric that we can cut on our AccuCut, get them all nice and straight. Then we're going to fold them wrong sides together. It's very important in this pattern to read the directions. Sometimes you're right sides together, sometimes you're wrong sides together. You have to pay attention. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the decorative 12-weight thread in both of your loopers. And the spaghetti and the fruity are beautiful on this. You're going to use your gray discs. If you don't have a gray disc, it's something that you want to get because they sit up on your thread stand and they make your thread a lot more stable, and so that the shorter spools will feed much nicer. You're going to stitch right on the folded edge just inside the blade, and then we cut the fabric 2.5 inches, so we're going to cut our strips now that have been stitched into 2.5 inch segments. For the prairie points, whatever size the width of your fabric was before you started is the size that you're going to cut them. And that's how your prairie points look. The top one is folded one way, the bottom one is folded the other way, so when you're using the 2 different threads, you can actually get 2 different looks on your prairie points. So you pressed them into triangles. We've alternated the color of stitchings, and we've made our prairie points. Now we're going to start putting things together. We're going to strip piece using a Flatlock stitch. And again, your lace applicator foot is going to help you keep everything nice and even and straight.
Now this is the Flatlock wave that is not on the recipe cards,
No.
correct?
This is a specialty stitch that you actually, it's kind of like similar to the other stitch we did. You're sewing along the edge and then you're opening it up and flattening it, and it's a beautiful wave.
So the instructions that we put together for the Serger Club have included the directions specific to the Flatlock wave.
Yes, that is not on your stitch card. It's one of those extra stitches. And this is how you're threading it up. So it's a totally different threading. You're using decorative thread in your upper looper. You're threading your number 2 needle, but you're threading it through the upper looper, or the lower looper, yeah, upper looper thing. It's totally different. So we're going to be strip piecing. We're going to attach the lace applicator foot, wrong side of the fabric, and then we're going to stitch each strip together. And that's what it looks like when you open it up. So we're stitching a print to a solid if that's your plan. Then you're going to add your next strip, and you have a 3-strip set. You're going to cut that strip in half. One piece is going to be for either side of your panel. There's a close-up of how it looks. It's very pretty with the decorative threads. Now we're going to attach our prairie points, so we're going to use an overlock stitch to put them on. We're just going to set up our machine. That's what your overlock stitch is going to look like. We're going to arrange the prairie points along, and this is where we're going to use our glue pen to hold them in place. I use it to hold them in place, and I also put a little dab to keep them folded, just in case when I'm stitching, I don't want anything opening up.
So that foot doesn't catch it.
Right.
The open part.
Well, it's going to be covered, but
Yeah.
we want to make sure it doesn't sneak out underneath. Then we're going to put in prairie points in between. And then we're going to put our other piece of fabric on top, stitch it, and our prairie points are secured in place. And if you look on mine, I kind of put my prairie points different places. I like to play. Now we're going to take and we're going to put our side panels right sides together on top of the prairie points. We're going to use Wonder Clips to hold everything together. When you're working on the serger, pins are very cumbersome. The Wonder Clips just work wonderfully to hold everything in place, and they're very easy to remove. Just when you put them on, make sure the flat side is down on the bottom, and you can just easily just slide them off as you're stitching along. You're going to stitch the panels together, you're going to press the seam, and now we're going to put the batting on the back because our top piece is all ready to go.
So throughout this attaching prairie points, we're stitching only with the 4-thread overlock all along the way.
Yes. We're going to position the ties 6 inches from the bottom and 6 inches from the top on either side. Now, they said you needed to adjust the pressure of the pressure foot to the lowest setting because you were going through so much. I found that my machine, I was sewing on a Triumph, and I stitched right through everything without having to do any pressure adjustment.
Well, Carol, that's because you have the top of the line.
True. Now you're going to take your backing piece, and your backing piece is going to be oversized, and you have in your directions the sizes and everything. You're going to mark your center, and you're going to attach your backing piece on either side, just temporarily marking it with your clips. You're going to clip together the centers, and then you're going to stitch down one side with a 4-thread overlock stitch. You're going to make the back larger than the front by at least 1 3/8 on the long sides and 1.5 inches on the short sides, just to be safe. So we're going to stitch the long side. We're going to lay it out on our table so it's nice and flat, and then we're going to cut the other long side 1 3/8 inch from that edge. We're going to then clip that and stitch that so we have a tube. We're going to turn it right side out, and we're going to press it. We're then going to trim the short ends to 3/4 of an inch. We're going to turn them up twice and top stitch. But you can get a little fancy here, and as you're turning things under, you can go ahead and create yourself a little fox miter. This is a picture of the backing. That's how just the one side stitched, the other side cut 1 3/8. Both sides stitched. I just kind of took some things around my sewing room that needed to be finished and said, hey, easy way to make it look like I did binding. Some of you that know me know I'm a little binding challenged. It's not my favorite thing to do. Then I just turned the edges up, used my Wonder Clips to hold them down, and then I went to my sewing machine and top stitched them. And okay, there's more of the directions, same thing that we did. And we're all looking forward to our next Serger Club and our Serge and Share with each of you. So what we're going to do for the Serge and Share is, if you have made one of these, you can post it on the Aurora Sewing Center behind the seams site, show it to us. We're going to give you 2 weeks. And on Good Friday, we are going to take everyone who has made one, throw the names in a pot, and have a drawing, just like we would have done at club.
So you have just over 2 weeks to start serging.
Start serging.
And that
Show
way
us what you made.
We'll have a little drawing and see who wins.
Yep.
All right. So, were you going to show us some demos now, Carol?
I will show you quickly how Foldy pen works.
Okay, bear with us as we move the camera around.
Don't get sick. I'm coming. All right.
So just take my Foldy pen, and it has directions in the packaging. You mix it with water and the solution, just a couple of drops of the solution. And the solution is also You can buy refills. And all you do is run it, squeeze it and run it along the edge. Fold it. And it's going to want to fold nicely. And you get a great folded edge. And it lasts until you press it out. It's in there. The glue stick that I used, you can also get refills for. The clips, you can get the Wonder Clips in large packages or small packages. If your machine didn't come or you misplaced your gray circles, they are available. And something that I found kind of out of the box that really worked for me was using one of the sashers as I was making my prairie points. I folded my fabric over, I set my sasher on the bed of my machine, and then as I stitched, it kept it folded perfectly for me. So just a little extra thing to help out. And that's pretty much everything. I think you can have a lot of fun. I'm really interested to see what everybody makes with all of the different things. And the quick column quilts has many different things in there that you can use. And it's kind of interesting to see what different uses that you can use for a serger. The book is not written for a serger, but Baby Lock switched it over to the serger. Baby Lock has a lot of great projects on their site, and we're going to have a lot of great projects for you coming up.
The other thing that we came up with is if you make the projects.
You said that.
Oh yeah. Well,
Let's say it a lot of times.
if you did just say that, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I had to run away, guys, and take care of something.
And this is the pattern,
Hold on, I'm gonna zoom in. Give me a second.
and it has very nice diagrams of all of your different threading, because the threadings are different than anything that's on your. It's kind of fun to create something new with new stitches, and I think once you learn these stitches, I think you can use them a lot of different places. So it was great to see everybody. I didn't see you, but everybody hang in there and keep stitching and stay safe.
Priscilla, the spaghetti and the fruity. Spaghetti is just one color. The fruity is solid, and then the fruity is variegated. That's the difference between the two threads. All right, everybody, go to our website. I'll be turning on the phone in about 10 minutes. Well, maybe 5. And then I know it's going to be blowing up because you all want to talk to us and you need things. And we'll get it all out in the back vestibule or out on the porch shortly. Stay safe. Oh,
And don't forget your bunnies.
don't forget your Easter bunnies. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us for our Serger Club. We'll see you guys all real soon.